Welcome back. The mayor of Boston announcing an expansion to the city's tuition-free community college plan. $4 million of additional funding will now cover up to 3 years of college tuition for students, including illegal migrants. More than half of that funding is coming from the American Rescue Plan. Joining me right now is campus reform, higher education fellow, and political science professor at Suffolk Community College, Nicholas Giordano. Nicholas, thanks very much for being here. So let me just get this straight. The money in a recent spending package signed into law, some of that money is going to be used to send illegal migrants to college. And it's going to be paid for by American taxpayers who will watch their taxes go up. Is that right?
Yes, we are fitting the bill for this. And, you know, it's really interesting because Americans are facing the highest inflation in 40 years. You have food costs at all-time highs. You have people struggling to pay bills, students, parents taking on enormous student debt burdens, and officials are looking to provide illegal immigrants with free college tuition. And this is why campus reform is exposing this. This is insulting to every single American and legal immigrant that did it the right way. And the biggest problem is that we see these programs expand. So it's not just Boston. New York City Mayor Eric Adams also announced a similar program where he wanted to take it statewide, and he's working with Governor Hochul to do this. At some point, the American people have to ask themselves, what is citizenship worth if you could get better benefits by being illegally here?
Well, people need to understand that they're paying for it because taxes are going to go up. Let me get the panel involved, Bob.
Yeah, there's no question. I mean, set aside the financial implications of this, Maria. It's just so discouraging to people who want to work, make a living, and prosper. That's what we're all about. That's what the American dream was, as opposed to just these continuous handouts that are taking place.
But handouts to illegals.
To illegals, even worse.
It's an insult to people like me who went to college, took on debt, and I'm paying back my debt, and I did it the hard way. And yet I could have come across the border illegally and been handed a free college tuition package. That's insane.
Unbelievable. Nicholas, you have a new op-ed out on Fox arguing that the First Amendment dangers of the government funding higher education. You write, quote, "This is nothing more than a backdoor attempt to revive the Biden administration's Disinformation Governance Board with the intent to intervene on social media platforms and incorporate these tools into local, national, and international newsrooms." Tell us more, because I spoke with the Speech First Executive Director, Cherise Trump, yesterday on this program. She's suing on her lawsuit against Texas State University and how they're violating students' free speech rights. Here's what she said. Watch.
Now, their harassment policy actually is so broad, the way it targets any kind of constitutionally protected speech. It doesn't say that it has to be directed towards an individual. In fact, it specifies that it doesn't have to be directed towards one individual, and that it could be just anything that offends like a group of individuals. And it says offensive or intimidating environment when it's describing what defines harassment. So what does that mean to students? They don't really know. Basically, who defines what's offensive?
Nicholas, your reaction.
It's ridiculous, and the government's using grant funding to have academics build out a speech monitoring tool program that's going to be used to censor the American people. And we see it being built, $5 million of, again, taxpayer money. This is your money being used to fund these programs to silence you. So $5 million to be spent to determine and label things as misinformation, what the government deems misinformation. These are the same people that silenced Dr. Bhattacharya, Dr. Gupta, when they were speaking out against COVID, they turned out to be right. But here you have the government that wants to be in control of the messaging. It wants to be in control of the narrative. And the academics are helping them build out this model. It's similar to what they did in 2002 when the academics built out the Total Information Awareness Program. And then that was picked up, elements of it were picked up by the National Security Agency and used to target and capture every single American's metadata.
Well, I find this very rich that this group, the Democrats, the Biden administration, the ones who told us that the border is secure, that Trump colluded with Russia, that the Biden laptop was misinformation, this is the group that's telling us that they want this Disinformation Governance Board in place.
Well, and you look at it, the governments throughout history have been the largest purveyors of misinformation. So, and we've seen that here in the United States as well as other governments around the world.
Oh, yeah.
Free speech means free speech. And this is what has made America such a great country. This is what has propelled us to be the most exceptional nation, is the idea that we have freedom of speech, freedom of thought. But the Biden administration wants to take that away.
Yeah.
Free speech, it became inconvenient when the masses got a voice and a platform to speak out on.
Yeah, well, look, it's hard to argue for free speech and try to enforce it when you've got 1,000 people in the federal government working with Twitter to suppress truth and amplify lies, which, of course, was exposed by Elon Musk. Nicholas, thank you. We're going to keep a spotlight on all of it. Nicholas Giordano joining us this morning.